on schooners and whalers, not one of them thinks of Nanette. And in Morocco, where the men join the French for a legion to forget, through the hell and the heat, I'm forced to repeat, not one of them thinks of Nanette. In China, the Chinky no think of Nanette. In Italy, the days go by without a thought for Nanette. Ja. To the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. They don't remember or forget her. Oh! 'Cause no one never met her. Well, let's face it. Who in the hell is Nanette? Wasn't there a musical written about Nanette? Oh yes, no, Nanette. Maybe we could write one and call it Yes, Yes, Yvette. Or perhaps one called Shut Up, Agnes. Never. Well, I just love going to see musicals, especially the big movie musicals. Oh, but they don't make those anymore. Too bad. Movies today are so real. And so explicit, shocking. You see, back in the good old days of Hollywood, they had a method to ensure good taste. It was called the Hollywood Production Code, and it clearly dictated what one should and should not see on the silver screen. And it went something like this. Now, here it is, the 1930 Hollywood Production Code, and nudity must never be permitted as being necessary to the plot. The effect of nudity on the average audience is immoral. Transparent materials, translucent materials, and silhouettes are even more suggestive than exposure. Excessive body movements while the feet are stationary violates decency and are wrong. No approval shall be given to the following words or phrases. Alley cat, applied to a woman. Tomcat, applied to a man. Warm, applied to a woman. Hot, applied to a woman. Tart, applied to a woman. Chippy, applied to a woman. Madam, applied to prostitution. Goose, in a vulgar sense. You can't say in your hat. You can't say hold your hat. You can't say nurse. You can't say nuts, except when meaning crazy. You can't say pregnant. You can't say virgin. You can't say damn. You can't say hell. You can't say God. You can't say God. You can't say Lord. You can't say Lord. You can't make a noise like... Adultery must not be the subject of farce or comedy. Extensive and lustful kissing is not to be shown on the screen. 6 seconds is the maximum length of a kiss in a movie scene, and it has to be done it's not that I'm for censorship. It's just that I'm against ugliness of any kind. Right, Mortimer? Although it was huge in films, huge, I tell you, my first love has always been the stage. I'll never forget it. I never will, but I'm going to have a drink first. I'll never forget it. When I first came here to America, actually New York City, to do my first Broadway show, the press asked me, what were your first impressions of New York, Miss Worthington? And I said, well, first the harbor, then the skyline, and then, of course, that enormous statue of Joan Crawford. And they said, tell us about yourself, Miss Worthington. Well, luckily I had a piano handy, so I said, 'tis many a year since I launched my career in Shakespeare. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Not bad, eh? At a most tender age, I first tottered on stage as a page. Now, I first acted, let's see, when would it be? It was 43. And although it seems queer, in the very next year, I played Lear. Ah, those were the days. And I thought they had gone. But some time ago, a man called John, and I think it was Gielgud. Yes, I'm quite sure. He called me up and invited me out on a tour for 52 weeks as a witch in Macbeth. Well, a prospect I thought little better than dared. And so I said, Mr. Gielgud, my dear, there's one point on which I'm not clear. We fixed up the sordid finance, so to speak, and I'm working for practically nothing a week, but in which part am I to appear? Which witch? Is it first witch or second or which? Now, don't think that although I played Lady Macbeth in my day, I must be the witch who has most lines to say. Now, the tall, scraggly, thin one would not interest me. I must be the hag with the gag in Act 3. If it's the first witch, then I should love it. But if it's the second, well, you know where you can shove it. I will not be the one who just croaks in the shade. I must be the one with the lights, I'm afraid. So to avoid any last-minute hitch, would you kindly inform me which witch? Which witch? Is it Ethel or Fanny or which? Now don't think I insist on a part that is huge, but I've never in 42 years been a stooge. The part must be one in which I'll get my teeth, not the hag who keeps shouting, "All hail!" on the heath. When we are grouped round the cauldron and watching it bubble, well, I must be well lit, or else there'll be trouble. We can fix up these things when we start to rehearse, but I must be the witch who has got